Everyone, my name is Pragya. Today I'll be discussing the differences between Jar and Chetan, and also ultimately whether we as an Atma are Jar or Chetan, or are we different from the body. So in order to understand this and answer this question, we need to first define what Jar is and what Chetan is. So the Jar can be defined as insentient, or you can also use synonyms like inanimate, unconscious, things like that. So there is a classification for things that are Jar, and you can describe these classifications are things that Jar has and things that it doesn't. So what does Jar have? Jar objects are inanimate, and they contain a shape, they have form, they have weight, they have color, they have very physical descriptions. But what they don't have is desires. They don't have. They're not able to have their own experiences. They cannot use. They don't have senses through which they can perceive things. So, in contrast to this, Chetan is the opposite of what Jar is. What Chetan is that it's conscious. It has desires. It has the ability to make effort, and it has the ability to perceive things through their senses. Whereas Chetan, what it doesn't have is that it doesn't have weight, it doesn't have color, it doesn't have shape, doesn't have form, physical descriptions like that. So now that we've understood what Jar and Chetan is and what they aren't, it's time to actually answer the question whether this body or Atma, are we the same, are we one and the same, or are we different things? What is Jar and what is Chetan? So this body in the mind are Jar, even though they may seem like they are Chetan, they are not indeed, because say for example you take a dead body, on its own it cannot move, therefore you can physically see that it requires some sort of power output, that it needs to energize the body in order to be able to use it. So what is that power output? That is Atma, that is Chetan. So what the body itself appears, or the mind itself appears like Chetan, because if I lift this pen up, you may think that it is my brain working some mechanism through my nervous system through which this pen is lifted. However, it is my Atma, it is my Chetan vessel that generates the desire to lift this pen up, which my body then executes through my mind. That is the difference between the body and the soul. So indeed, they are separate objects. The soul is not Jar. The soul is not the body. The body is Jar, and the body is not the soul. And furthermore, if you want to go deeper into this topic, which requires a lot of understanding, you can look into yourself, because the Atma has the ability to observe its mind and the actions of its nervous system through meditation and things like that. Because we are able to understand our thoughts, we are able to separate ourselves from our thoughts, and because we have the ability to do that, we can further understand that Atma, which is Chetan, is separate from the body. So the reason why we have a body in the first place is because Atma, in its inheritance, has limited power to generate desires, to gain knowledge, to perceive through its senses. Therefore, it requires a body through which we can perceive this material world, but it is not the body itself. So that is what Jar and Chetan is, and that is the difference between the Atma and the body.